In this video, I'm going to show you how I create content when I'm feeling self-conscious, inferior, or even with a case of imposter syndrome. And so, first thing that I just have to realize is that creation, man, it's hard. It's a hard, energy draining process. So when you realize that, whenever I realize that, it just I know I have to get into the spot where I'm physically ready, mentally prepared. And in order to do that, I have to just realize that it's going to be hard. It's going to be effort. It's going to take some effort. Think about birth. Giving birth. It's messy, right? It's messy and it's hard. And so put your frame of mind in that is that it's just going to be, you know, ugly. But the first thing you do is start. Turn the camera on, start typing, and just get moving. If you think about and accept the fact that it's going to be messy and that it's going to be rather difficult, but it doesn't have to be perfect. But you do start. Turn on the camera, start typing, start recording, do whatever. Because first of all, not everybody has to see it. If you're feeling inferior or self-conscious or having some of that imposter syndrome, but the fact that you're going to start and realize and accept the fact that it's going to be ugly. I like to golf, and whenever I see people on the practice range struggling to hit a golf ball that isn't moving, it's kind of comical because I think they'll see some pros on TV and watch them hit crisp shots with trajectories that can do whatever these guys want to do, and you have to realize that golf might be the hardest game on the planet because there are so many variables. Everything's changing all the time. You can hit a great shot with it and be the most crisp impact, but at the end of the day, it doesn't end up good. But even on the range, with the ball not moving, folks are expecting to hit perfect shots without having gone through the repetitions. And the other thing too, and this is a side note, uh, without having someone to coach and get it eyes on with a golf swing, it's to expect to go out and play unless you're Bubba Watson, who I guess has never had a lesson. It's pretty remarkable, but to expect to go and hit perfect shots right from the get-go when you're just starting to create content, same thing. You're gonna just expect it to not be good. And the other thing that you can get some solace in is that no one's going to watch it. And you don't even really want them to watch because it's not going to be good. And if it is good, then people can go back and think, oh man, you're great. But what they'll see is they'll see a progression is if you're consistently creating content. Um, you can just expect it to be bad, and they'll see the progression and have some confidence in themselves that they can do the same, and you can be a role model. But just expect it to be bad, realize it's going to be messy. But then the other thing too, you want to realize and do and take into account that no matter what it is you're going to create content about for your business, and I'm speaking specifically about your business. You got to start with in your head. You gotta be mentally right. It's got to be. You got to have the vision. You got to set the game plan in your brain first of all, because it all starts up here first, right? No matter whatever it is we're creating, it all starts up in your mind. And so to get to the spot where you're um, doing that creation, it starts there. So you got to get mentally right, and you can do it by this. And one of the coolest things that you can do, and besides starting, and I want to put this over here, is just document, call your shot, and instead of trying to be an expert, even though you might be, is instead of saying how to, do everything, to do X, and presuming that you know every way of doing something, just say, hey, listen, this is how I have started to create content consistently, how I am doing this. And it takes the pressure off because it doesn't mean that you're great at it. But how I started to create content, how I build my online business, how I make sales, how I hit a golf shot, how I fire a gun, how I raise my kids. So start with how I do it, not how to, and for your subject matter, and you'll have a lot more confidence. I have a lot more confidence when I do it that way, but you will too whenever you just stay with how I. But create this mental picture and create a plan. Now I want to go back to this. I like to watch UFC this weekend. One of the UFC fighters is um, uh, Luke Rockhold, and he a number of years ago before he got knocked out, it was great. He was saying, "Oh, first you got to conceive, believe, and achieve," and that's true. But the way he was doing it made you want to see him get pummeled, and it's the same kind of thing going on this weekend. He's fighting a guy that I hope he gets knocked out, but it doesn't mean it's not true. First, you have to conceive, believe, and achieve to achieve it. But then you create a plan and just lay it out: A, B, C. All right, here's how I do this, how I do that. And there, if you're talking about fighting Mike Tyson, says everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So expect your plan to get punched in the mouth. But then what you can do is just treat it like an experiment. Be detached. Be detached from the outcome. So back to golf, you can hit a great shot and swing confidently through the ball and pick a line. And whatever happens, happens. Maybe it hits a sprinkler head and bounces out of bounds. Maybe you hit it off the toe and you just duff it. But whenever you just say, all right, let the fear go and take a confident swing, as opposed to swinging in fear, um, you're a lot better off than just come what may. But be detached from the outcome and experiment and correct experiment. And then what I do is I just take it from there. Wherever the ball lands, it lands, and you get up and down, or you don't. If it's the sand, hits the water, take a drop. You can't be emotionally attached to that outcome, or else it's going to go all downhill from there. It's just a matter of managing the expectations from where you currently are. So take where you are, where I am, and see what the results that you get, and just modify it from there. So that's how I create content. And then what you can do is just expect that it's going to do a couple things. It's going to do a couple things. It's going to draw people to you or me, right? If we're just staying with the I, it's going to draw the folks that like golf, that like UFC, to a business model that then you can create that's available for building your business, whether it be offering some kind of lead magnet, but getting them into the process of saying, hey, listen, if you like this stuff, we can help you with building it and using it to build your business, because we're going to take you from point A to point B, whether it's creating content or creating a sales process with a business, and go from A to B to C to D, where you can have these assets. What this ends up being is an asset. Think of a book, like I was showing in another video with Dan Kennedy. He's got all these books that he's written over the course of time that are basically a demonstration of his expertise that will draw his ideal clients to him. And so think of it as assets that you're putting out there that are just drawing your ideal clients to you, so that you can develop and build a business that eliminates objections without you having to be there, creates that bond without you having to physically be there, and perpetuates a machine that drives income whether you're there or not, whether you're awake or not, whether you're on vacation or not, whether you're working or not, and at the same time uh, builds upon itself and compounds on itself to the point where you can't stop it, right? That's the goal. That's the goal. So if this sounds like something that you'd like to have us help me have me help you with, right? Have a look at the link down in the description. And in the meantime, go check out the next video, whichever side it's going to be on. I haven't figured that out yet on how YouTube, where the placement is. But have a look at the next video. I'm David Bridge Jr., and we'll see you there.